Stuffed crepes. Tender crepes filled 3 delicious ways. Grilled ham and Swiss, bacon and cheddar, and supreme. Served with your choice of our famous pancakes or crispy hash browns. Stuffed crepes at IHOP. It's the stuff dreams are made of. IHOP. Come hungry, leave happy. Come to IHOP for gift certificates so everyone can enjoy a delicious meal.
Local 8 wants to know the local stories that matter to you.
I wanted to do this teenage program, and I thought, how am I going to get people to know about this?
You gave us all kinds of great local story ideas.
So I thought, I'll call Channel 8.
Every day, we air your stories.
Sure enough, they supported us.
The San Diego stories you want to know about.
We thank Channel 8 for coming out, sharing our story.
And so now we have this great story because of Channel 8.
Local coverage, local commitment, Local 8.
Who can get you into a brand new Chevrolet today?
The Baker Man can.
From the redesigned Silverado and the rugged Avalanche to the full line of Chevy SUVs. Who has the Chevy that's right for you?
The Baker Man.
Ron Baker has 0% financing for 60 months or $3,000 cash back. Ron Baker Chevrolet, the Mile of Cars, National City. We'll be there.
Come on down to the Mile of Cars to my place.
If you haven't been to Rouse lately, you've got to come see us.
You can't beat our selection. It's the best in San Diego.
You can't pick a better place to shop.
There's all kinds of fresh things happening.
I'd invite anybody to come check out our prices. I'm sure you're going to be happy with what you see.
Right now with Rouse, you have the right and responsibility to vote for a candidate for governor.
I opened our colleges to every qualified student. I protected a woman's right to choose. And I'm the only lieutenant governor to ever shut down a polluting offshore oil rig. I need your vote for governor.
Cruz Bustamante, Democrat for governor.
Closed captioning on Local 8 News is brought to you by Sleep Train Mattress Centers. Your ticket to a better night's sleep.
Their unmentionables are plastered on billboards all around the world. So what exactly does it take to become the next designer underwear supermodel? Christy Ferrer introduces us to the newest Calvin Klein sensation.
To get unmentionables mentioned all over the world, the award-winning series Sex and the City knows that sex still sells big time.
There he is! The absolute host! What did I tell you?
Smith Jerrod may have wowed the crowds in Times Square, but that's television fiction. How does it happen in the real world, and what is the naked truth?
When we're starting a search for a new Calvin Klein underwear model, we hire casting agents and use our own internal casting people, and we look in a huge variety of sources. Modeling agencies, in the street, in the gym, on the beach, playing sports.
Calvin Klein scored a goal this season with UK soccer sensation Freddie Ljungberg. They will literally be kicking off their fall pro stretch underwear campaign with a 26-year-old Swedish heartthrob. Ljungberg was voted 2002 Player of the Year in England and recently named 8th most eligible bachelor, according to a British newspaper. Well known outside of the U.S., Americans will now get to know Freddie on an intimate basis as he gets worldwide exposure, including that famed Spectacolor board in Times Square. But don't get your knickers in a twist. This male model's manhood will be covered in a pair of Calvin Klein briefs. With $3.4 billion spent annually on men's underwear and a variety of skivvies to choose from, the age-old question still remains, what do you prefer, boxers or briefs?
Definitely boxers, because briefs are not as attractive.
And what does a sexy new underwear model prefer?
What I wear for underwear, I think you call it boxer briefs.
The new Pro Stretch line seems a natural fit for the sultry athlete. Extra stretch allows for extreme movement during games, and sexy support enhances assets on the field and off. Have dreams of becoming the next Calvin Klein super hunk? Cultivate your individual look and work out now to get the body that will make the masses swoon. In New York, I'm Christy Ferrer.
Well, there you have it, and that's our time at 4 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. Local 8 News at 5 begins now.
You're watching San Diego's #1 source for news. This is Local 8 News at 5.
With just 4 days till the recall election, Arnold Schwarzenegger is facing another controversy.
This is CBS. You're watching San Diego's #1 source for news. This is Local 8 News at 6.
For the second straight day, Arnold Schwarzenegger's campaign deals with controversy. Tonight, alleged comments the former actor made about Hitler. And a convicted child killer faces the death penalty, but will an image of his brain somehow save his life? Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Kathleen Bade.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Graham Ledger. Topping our news tonight, taking aim at Arnold Schwarzenegger Day 2. A day after confronting allegations of sexual harassment head-on, Schwarzenegger is dealing with another controversy tonight.
The actor-turned-politician says he doesn't remember making the comments years ago that he admired Adolf Hitler. According to reports today, Arnold made the comment during the filming of Pumping Iron in 1975. Local 8's Phil Blauer is here now with the controversy and reaction.
Graham, Kathleen, Republican recall candidate Arnold Schwarzenegger turned his attention to damage control during his final campaign push across California today.
That I will be able to go up there to Sacramento and do this and clean house and kick some serious butt.
The New York Times reports during an interview for the bodybuilding movie Pumping Iron, the former Mr. Olympia expressed admiration for Adolf Hitler. But Arnold says that's not true.
Well, first of all, I think it's absolutely wrong. I never had any tapes. I never had any Nazi tapes and marched to any music or anything like this. I don't remember ever a time where I was infatuated with Hitler. I always despised everything that Hitler stood for. He was a criminal of the highest level. He was a killer. He was evil. He has used everything that he had in a negative way and against people. I despise anything that went on during that period.
Governor Gray Davis says the accusations raise serious questions about Arnold's ability to lead the Golden State.
If true, his personal behavior was disturbing and unacceptable, and his professed admiration for Adolf Hitler unconscionable.
If they're true, they have grave consequences. But when the charge is made 4 or 5 days before an election, one has to wonder of the motivations as well as the veracity of those charges.
Former independent candidate Arianna Huffington had these harsh words for the so-called Teflon Terminator.
I'm here to really connect the dots politically. I dropped out of the race because I saw the clear and present danger presented by Schwarzenegger.
And in a new field poll, Arnold Schwarzenegger now has a 10-point lead over Democratic Lieutenant Governor Cruz Bustamante. Tom McClintock has 19%, and Green Party candidate Peter Cameo is at 6%. Schwarzenegger's wife Maria is standing by her husband. She's urging voters to listen to Arnold's plans for the future and not listen to those who want to bring up apparent lies from the past. We'll hear more from her coming up on Local 8 News at 6:30.
And political strategists saying that Arnold is doing the right thing by quickly responding to all the allegations.
And at this point, if you read the polls, it looks like it's not affecting him one bit. But again, the election still a few days away. There's a lot of campaigning in the days ahead.
All right. One of the dangers of a very short campaign is this stuff happens right towards the end.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of mud to fly still. New attack ad, meantime, has hit the airwaves targeting Arnold Schwarzenegger for his alleged behavior toward women. Now the question is, will the accusations affect him at the polls? Local 8's Jeff Zevley is live at the Registrar of Voters in Kearney Mesa with reaction to this. Jeff?
Graham, I guess you could call it unscripted territory for the actor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hand-to-hand political warfare, and this latest attack comes in the form of a television commercial that's very negative.
If video of Dirty Dancing at a Playboy party 20 years ago didn't hurt enough, headlines alleging 3 decades of groping did. And now, this commercial.
If you're a woman, or your mother is a woman, or your wife, or your daughter, or your sister, or there's a woman at work, you cannot vote for this man, because Arnold Schwarzenegger has a serious problem with women.
Instead of positive press following his bus, Schwarzenegger faces a pack of angry women.
Why not vote for Arnold? Because Arnold is a sexual harasser. We don't want a sexual harasser in the office.
He treats women as if they're just sex symbols, and I don't believe that he should be governor for the state of California.
And yet, several factors seem to be helping Schwarzenegger with women voters.
And I apologize, and I'm sorry about that.
A quick apology, for one, plus the fact that recent accusations are mostly rehashed stories from old magazine articles, meaning a lot of people deem these attacks as last-minute trash politics.
I think I even admire him more for saying, yes, I did wrong and accept that.
I want to give Arnold a chance. his personal life, I have a personal life. Everybody has a personal life.
Local 8 viewers seem to agree, although not scientific. On our web poll, we asked, will you change your vote because of the sexual harassment allegations against Schwarzenegger? 5% replied, yes, I will no longer vote for Arnold. But 73% said, no, I'm still voting for Arnold. And 22% of you replied, I wasn't ever going to vote for him in the first place.
Of course, for more than 162,000 San Diego voters, none of this really matters. They've already voted. They'll wait for the election results on Tuesday.
Jeff, you called it trash politics. I heard somebody on the air, I think Fox News, saying something like the politics of puke, if you excuse the expression. It's getting kind of ugly out there.
Yeah, it sure is. We talked to some people here at the Register of Voters today, and they say every election, it just gets dirty at the very end, and we're seeing it again.
All right. Jeff, thanks.
Arnold won't be getting support from dozens of celebrities. They published a full-page ad urging people to vote against the recall. The ad was in today's edition of the trade newspaper Variety. The headline reads, "Join us, vote no on the recall." It's followed by a long list of celebrity and industry names, including Richard Dreyfuss, Danny Glover, Barbra Streisand, and Rob Reiner. And stay with Local 8 News on Election Day for complete coverage. We'll have updates once the polls close at 8 o'clock, and tune in at 10 for a complete hour of election coverage. We'll have reporters across the state Tuesday on Local 8 News.
There is other news on this Friday. Trial began today for a teenager who's charged in the murder of a student from San Diego State University. 22-year-old Paul Mefford was shot to death in Mission Beach last year after he tried to get back his stolen bicycle. Prosecutors say a fight broke out between Mefford's group, mostly whites, and a group of blacks. Prosecutors also say Darius Days, a gang member, helped the gunman. Days is the first of 4 suspects to go to trial. A defense attorney says Days did not help the gunman.
Attorneys for the man convicted of murdering 2 South Bay boys are hoping that high-tech images of Scott Erskine's brain can save him from the death chamber.
Now, these brain scan images could be used in the penalty phase of the trial. Michael Tuck and the Local 8 crime fighters take a closer look.
Why did he do it? 40-year-old Scott Erskine, convicted of torturing and strangling 2 little boys, 9-year-old Jonathan Sellers and his friend, 13-year-old Charlie Kiefer. Jurors will soon be asked whether Erskine deserves to die for his crimes. The defense may focus on Erskine's brain. Defense attorneys want to show the jury high-tech images of Erskine's brain similar to these, taken with a device known as a PET scan. The PET scan can reveal damage in areas of the brain that control rational behavior.
It's used in lots of cases where the issue is how clear is somebody's thinking.
In another case, defense attorney Alan Bloom once used PET scan images of the brain to convince a jury that his client was not guilty of first-degree murder. And the images have been admitted into evidence in a number of death penalty cases.
The defense will say, wait a second, this person has a brain which isn't working right, and shouldn't the jury know, if they're going to have to decide to execute somebody, whether or not this person has been injured for something beyond his control?
The key to Erskine's defense is a brain injury he suffered when he was just 5 years old. He was hit by a car when he was crossing the street in Long Beach.
Years later, a mental evaluation of Erskine said that in the accident, both his legs were broken, along with his right arm and 3 ribs. He had a fractured skull, was in a coma for 72 hours, and in the hospital for 6 months. It's precisely that type of incident that defense attorneys look at and try to explain violent and, yes, even homicidal behavior to a jury. Critics of the PET scan say it amounts to nothing more than junk science when it comes to criminal trials.
It's not junk science, but it's a question of how much you push it to try to show its accuracy. It is not 2 + 2 = 4.
Ultimately, the jury will have to decide what, if anything, the images of Scott Erskine's brain reveal about the mind of a killer. Michael Tuck, Local 8 News.
Penalty phase of Erskine's murder trial begins October 14. That's when a jury must decide between a sentence of life in prison or death. Erskine's public defender would not comment on this case.
A recent wave of gang violence has San Diego police beefing up its patrols. The police department has been moving in more officers into its gang detail over the past several weeks. Officers in the Traffic and Special Operations Unit will also be focusing on areas with active gang activity.
Let's check on the Friday night commute.
For that, we turn to Deb Hankey. She is live in Chopper 8.
Hey there, we've got some problems here, one of which is a highway closure I want to let you know about. Make that southbound 125 before it becomes the westbound 54. We had this accident. Sheriffs were in pursuit of a suspect for a stolen vehicle, and what ended up happening was an accident involving 8 vehicles altogether. It looks like that some of these vehicles are starting to pull away, but they've got a lot of paperwork to fill out. Fortunately, no injuries in this crash, but what's happened is the southbound 125, where you would transition to South Bay Parkway into the 54, they've shut that off. And for right now, the southbound 125, they are diverting people onto Hamishaw Boulevard. So some backup there. A signaler wrapping up on the North 15, the beginning of the HOV lanes, accident with major injuries. So a busy ride on the 15 up to the north as well.
All right, Deb Hankey, thank you for that update.
Coming up, results of a new study on college tuition. The results are rather surprising.
And in a Your Family First report, kids on trial. But it's all for a learning experience.
And after a drought, as far as the sunshine is concerned, the sun finally came out along the coastline. I'm meteorologist Sean Stiles. We'll tell you about the weekend, and I've got some good news for you. That's all coming up on Local 8 News.
And a new place for children to play in Bayview Terrace.
Frightmare on Market Street is now open. Stop into a 999 Cellular, Access Mobile, or City Wireless locations for your discount coupons to Frightmare on Market Street.
Local 8 News is brought to you in part by Chevrolet.
It's happening. You can feel it.
Arnold's the poster child for the American dream, and that's inspiring. That's inspiring to everybody.
An extraordinary man, at one with the people. A governor for the people for a change. In this historic election, we can send a message to those in power that the ultimate power still rests in the hands of the people.
What else is new with you? New Get You Noticed at Macy's Super Weekend. Save on great handbags and the latest fashions for her. Check out men's clearance fashions and save at the baby sale too. Shop Preview Day and save. Macy's.
Has the recall affected California's finances?
The state's credit rating was downgraded the day after the recall was certified.
What about our economy?
47 states have had deficits, but only California has a recall crisis. If we want jobs to come here, we have to restore political stability.
What's at stake on Tuesday?
This recall won't educate one child. It won't create one new job. For our economy and our future, please join me in voting no.
I'm with Skip, a counterculture type who claims he can set up wireless networking. Yeah, bro! Time to send the fax! Doctoring! And I can surf the net. Can I hot flash strike a dude?
Why install it yourself? At CompUSA, get free installation and training right in your home. We'll match any advertised price, too. Those are things no one can match.
Check it out! I messed up.
Well, if we got to change California, we have to change our governor.
Ray Davis's fiscal mismanagement alone is a reason to recall him.
300% is ridiculous. Nobody can afford to pay that.
Davis hasn't done anything to help jobs in California. We're losing jobs.
Makes no sense at all. If they're here illegally, why should they be able to drive legally?
We've had higher energy prices. He is not competent to do the job.
People are sick and tired of the way Ray Davis has mismanaged this great state of ours.
From the ocean to the desert, from North County to the South Bay, and everywhere in San Diego County. Clear, balanced local news that keeps you connected to where you live. This is Local 8 News at 6.
Children at Bayview Terrace Elementary School in Pacific Beach are breaking in their new field.
1, 2, 3.
That was Mayor Dick Murphy running to the right, and Councilman Michael Zucchett were at the ribbon-cutting ceremony today. It was all part of a special celebration of the new multi-use ball field and running track. San Diego Unified School District provided the land for the new field, and the City of San Diego helped pay for the construction. And look at them go.
Yeah, don't stand between children and their recess time.
Local high schoolers have been preparing to act as lawyers in a San Diego teen court.
Well, today they were put to the test as they tried real cases involving young offenders. The goal of teen court is to reduce juvenile crime while giving students an up-close look at the legal system. In today's Your Family First report, we show you what happened inside the courtroom. The jury files in. The lawyers take their seats. The trial is about to begin.
The City of San Diego Teen Court is now in session.
City Attorney Casey Gwynn presides over a court where high schoolers will decide the fate of a 13-year-old girl who was caught with marijuana at school.
Were you planning on smoking it?
No, I wasn't.
Her defense team starts strong, but the prosecution scores points with a revelation that she lied to her mom about the drugs.
I was like, oh, we've got her now. It's like now the case fell into our hands.
After hearing the evidence, the jury meets to determine the sentence.
I don't really know what 20 hours of community service is going to accomplish.
The jurors decide the girl should attend a drug workshop and write a report about her experience.
Finally, we would like for her to undergo 2 months of weekly drug testing just to make sure that in fact she has not smoked it.
It's a little more harsh than we were hoping for. We think the drug test is a little extreme, but we are satisfied with the verdict.
I thought it was pretty fair. The only thing I really thought was that we really wanted some community service for her just because that was more of the punishment part to it.
Under teen court rules, the defendant will have her record cleared if she completes her sentence. It's a win for her and the other teens who've gotten an insider's look at the criminal justice system.
I have no doubt that in this particular group that you just saw today, we've got some people that are going to be lawyers and judges someday. No doubt about it.
By the way, teen court expects to handle more than 60 cases during the current school year. If you would like more information about getting involved in this program, visit KFMB.com and click on Your Family First.
A new study says families often overestimate the cost of college tuition at four-year public universities. The National Center for Education Statistics says that fact is discouraging a lot of students from attending college. The study says many families are estimating costs double the real numbers. It says if parents do more research on college costs, they will find higher education is more affordable than you think, unless, of course, you go up the road to USC.
Well, and you also got to keep in mind that most likely you'll be in for 5 years. Most people are.
Especially at San Diego State.
Well, the Friday night drive home is winding down, thankfully, at this hour. It's been a tough one, but we'll have a traffic check for you next from Chopper 8.
And where's the sun? There it is. It's disappearing slowly on this Friday night. Sean found it. And the microclimate weather forecast for the weekend coming up.
California Indian tribes are now on the road to self-reliance and dignity. Since Indian gaming was approved by Californians, Indian tribes with casinos are providing clean water and electricity, schools, health care, and fire protection for tens of thousands of Indians living on poor and remote tribal reservations. In addition, we've been able to create more than 40,000 new California jobs for non-Indians as well as Indians. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for your continuing support.
In every town across this country, there is untapped potential markets for our cigarettes. Ethnic neighborhoods, for example.
Well, what we do is we move in and become part of the community. We help out wherever we can, help small businesses, donate to ethnic community organizations.
Money buys legitimacy.
Well, it's donations in the form of scholarships, things like that. And well, we're rewarded with new smokers.
It doesn't cost us a lot to become a friend in these communities.
But it sure pays off.
It sure does.
California's wearing out. Crowded roads, old water systems, sewage plants that can't keep up. We can rebuild California with Proposition 53. Prop 53 sets aside funding for road repair, clean water, and other public projects without raising taxes or taking from schools. Endorsed by business, labor, and the leader of California's Infrastructure Commission, Cruz Bustamante. Rebuild California. Yes on 53.
Have questions about Arnold Schwarzenegger? So do a lot of people. He ducks tough questions, didn't vote in 13 of the last 21 elections, and now he refuses to debate the governor he's trying to replace. Vote no on the recall.
It's been a resounding success.
It's your money. You want to make the most of it.
It's the best that it's ever been.
That's why Local 8 created Don't Waste Your Money reports.
Bottom line, you've got to spend less than you earn.
We need to take advantage of every pre-tax dollar we can get our hands on.
Don't waste your money. Weeknights only on Local 8 News. Live team coverage all day Election Day. Plus, at 10 p.m., a Local 8 election special, the California Recall. Complete coverage all day Election Day on Local 8 News.
Come to Fantastic Sam's for a haircut, and your shampoo is always included. It feels great and is a professional way to ensure a quality cut. Fantastic Sam's, where fashion sense meets common sense.
Boy, this has been a very difficult Friday evening drive, even by Friday standards. Getting to the weekend, you're going to definitely work for it. We've got problems all over. As we fly right near the stadium here, we have got no problems really through this area, but northbound 15, they have cleared an earlier signaler to crash right there at the HOV lanes, but that's caused a backup from Miramar to the scene, and then once again very slow through Rancho Bernardo. Very serious accident up in Vista, westbound Vista Way, past Emerald, where we have an accident, and we believe that someone may have been ejected from a vehicle in this accident, possibly a child. We're going to try to check that out. Southbound 125, they have had to shut that down, but should be reopening it shortly. Shut down just about at the point where it turns into South Bay Parkway, transitioning to the 54 because of an earlier pursuit that ended up in an 8-vehicle crash, and North 5 still slammed from the merge most of the way up into Oceanside.
All right, Deb, thanks.
We're going to head over to Encinitas, where Sean Stiles has been spending the evening. And lucky for you, there are clear skies because we've been showing just a beautiful sunset behind us, and I'm sure you've got one too.
It is absolutely a gorgeous night here in San Diego. Very fall-like, temperatures cooling off quickly. It's going to be a nice evening up here at the Encinitas Ranch Golf Course, where they got a big fundraiser going on. You know what I found out about Encinitas Ranch, the golf course here? Of course, it's a public course, but the land up here was donated by Paul Ecke Jr., the family, over 250 acres. This was all farmland up here where they raised a lot of plants, and of course, the poinsettias that Paul Ecke made famous. He passed away in 2002, but the 250 acres up here was donated to the city of Encinitas as long as they put in this public course. So a real nice gift to the folks up here, and what a course it is. Let's tell you about the weather and how your weekend will shape up, and I'll tell you a little bit why I'm up here in Encinitas. Downtown San Diego, look at that sun setting. Boy, that is absolutely gorgeous. I think we're rolling a time lapse on that. We'll have it maybe for the 7 or the 11 o'clock. 66, winds are out of the south at 60, humidity 73%, and your barometer, it is steady. Now, we're up here at